Wow, it's like, not like riding a bike. Figure this all out again. All right, well, Clausen, it is June. Yes, it is June 15th, 2021, 7:30 PM, calling this regular meeting of City Council to order. This is the first time we've been in chambers since March of 2020. It's been a while. It's good to be back, although I'm enjoying the hybrid version. I think this could be, it'd be nice if we keep that around. All right, so if we could, Master Chief, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Flag, everybody, is right over there.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
Stay standing for the
Oh, sorry. You're right. Gosh, see, we're like rusty here. We're going to stay standing for the words of inspiration from Pastor Jonathan Kwan from the Royal Oak Woodside Baptist Church. If you'd be so kind, Pastor Kwan.
Thank you for having me here tonight to serve all of you. I'd like to pray some blessings upon all of us who are meeting here for the very first time in a long time. Father in heaven, we thank you for allowing us to meet in person like this, to do business for our community face to face. Lord, and I also ask that you bless the people online who are tuning in to participate as well. Lord, I ask tonight that you provide your protection and insight for our first responders, wisdom and discernment to our council members, our mayor, our city manager, and all of its glorious and wonderful municipal staff. God, today, I ask that with a packed agenda and contentions perhaps even, let us remember who it is that we work effectively for the people who call us brother, sister, neighbors, friends, family. Lord, put at ease amongst all of our hearts and our spirits with peace. Fill it with peace so that division and discord can fall away and the work of politics and government be done in the name of truth and love with great mercy and grace for every single person and regardless of their viewpoints and beliefs he or she has. God, in all these things, let each of us be bold. Let us be refreshing to one another because we must recognize the one who loves us when we're most unlovable, who pursues us when we don't want to be pursued. Let us recognize that our source of hope, no matter how hopeless we are, that we can become vessels of your love that be manifested to all people represented here tonight. Thank you for calling us and saving us, Jesus, and calling us your brothers and sisters. Lord, thank you for this opportunity to this work that we are called and designed and ordained to do. Manifest your glory and empower us to love and hope like never before. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Kwan. Oh, Mr. Gitschlag, this is an exciting moment. First time in chambers here in Clausen.
It's so exciting. It's like I've never been in a chambers before.
It's a new chambers.
New chambers for me.
It's 1970s style chambers.
It's newer than the last one I was in.
Please.
I will, Mayor. Mayor Scripture.
Yes, here.
Mayor Pro Tem Milan.
I'm here.
Councilmember Moffett.
Present.
Councilmember Phillips.
Here.
Councilmember Sampson.
Here.
That is a full quorum, Madam Mayor.
Outstanding. I'd say that's a full
Full vote.
vote. Yes, it is. All right. The next on the agenda, we have the consent of the agenda. And there's a few items that as part of it, I want to point out, and Mr. Gitschlag might jump in on this. The library board appointment that you see on the agenda, that Mr. Gitschlag wasn't familiar with our system of sending that out ahead of time. We can remove that from the agenda, or, because the first time any of us has seen it as a packet, but just so everybody knows, that was a direct recommendation from the library board. And so we could remove it so that can be sent around, or if nobody on council has an objection, we can go ahead and leave it on the consent agenda. I just want to ask that and explain how that happened. It was just a oversight because Mr. Gitschlag's new.
I don't have a problem with it. It's just to fill an unexpired term.
Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember Moffett?
I'm fine.
Are you
That's
okay?
fine.
Okay. All right, then we'll go ahead and leave that on there, and I'm sure the library will appreciate that. Like I said, that was directly from the board. their recommendation, so.
Your Honor, I move the consent agenda be,
Actually, we're
Approved
approving
as
the
presented.
agenda first.
I'm sorry,
You're
what?
approving the agenda first.
Yes, that's what she was just doing.
She said consent
That's what I just
agenda, which is
did.
the next item.
Oh, no, agenda, sorry.
sorry, I went ahead. Mayor, I move the agenda be approved as presented.
Support.
I was actually going to remove to take the PUD from the agenda. I believe there's a presentation, but to take the vote from the agenda. We did not get the information until late Sunday afternoon, and I was driving, so I didn't get to look at it until Monday. And given that we have quite a few people that are very invested, I had several questions that I wanted to ask that I did not get the opportunity to ask.
I'd like to suggest that we leave it on the agenda because I think there's a lot of people here to talk about it, but we cannot take any action on it. But if the
That was
people
my-
came here to talk about it, I think we should give them the opportunity.
Well, and on top of that, I do believe, although I thought he was going to be here, but I guess he's calling it, is Joe? Joe's here, or he's on the,
He's on.
okay, Joe was still, Tangeri from Giffords was still going to go ahead and do a discussion and presentation. So, yeah, I was going to propose that we take the action off of the agenda for that and go ahead and let that, and as Councilmember Moffett said, the people that have come and anybody that's on.
So what I was saying is we leave it on the agenda, but when it comes to that item, we obviously don't have the presentation, but so we're not amending the
do.
agenda. But we didn't get a chance to look at it in advance.
Right, but we,
Right.
yeah, but Joe's here to talk, to at least explain stuff.
So I agree that maybe we should remove his presentation from tonight's meeting so that we have a chance to look at it and prepare our questions and that sort of thing, but leaving the agenda items so that the people that are here can speak to it as items on the agenda, but we not go through the whole presentation and all that.
Okay, so you want to postpone the presentation also? Okay.
That's just my suggestion.
But I-
Well, we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented on the
We're
table.
discussing, so we haven't
Okay.
amended the motion yet,
But-
because she might want to amend that in a
That's
second.
what I was getting at, okay.
And then I do believe that item B2 should actually be moved under new business. That, I think that was a misunderstanding also. I believe that there was going to be, maybe they thought they were going to do a presentation, but I believe the council member that had a question on that does not any longer. So that can just go back under new business, and Giffords doesn't have to do a presentation on that. So I'm
Are you talking about number 8B2?
B2,
Okay.
the second reading. So, so those are the two things, yes. So would you consider amending?
So I will amend my motion to exclude any action on the PUD. Is that what we're saying?
I think Councilmember Moff is saying she'd prefer to wait on the presentation also, which I'm fine either
Is that
way.
what you said, Sue?
Yeah, but I was saying to leave it so that when it comes up to, I talk to our public comment items on the agenda, the people that are here can have their commentary on it.
Okay,
But we
so we're
not
gonna-
entertain the presentation until we.
Okay, so we're just going to hold off on the presentation and remove B2 from the,
And put it under new business.
put it under new business. Did you get that?
And having said that, if Mr. Tangeri is on, and I think he is on the screen, okay, this is weird. Joe, first of all, Joe Tangeri is our representative from Giffords, our planner. Happy birthday, Joe. Now, all of Clausen knows that you're older. And so it looks like you can now go celebrate your birthday, because we're going to postpone the presentation, the vote, until the next meeting.
Okay, all right, thank you. I've made all those notes, and I will also contact the applicant right now.
All right. Then have a really happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
All right, can we go ahead and roll call vote that then?
All right, so we are taking 8B off of the agenda, but moving Part 2 to new business.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Well, yeah, we're still going to have public comment on all of it.
Right, because it's still there, so they
Yep.
can comment away.
Yep.
So, okay. Roll call vote. Mayor Pro Tem Milan.
Yes.
Councilmember Moffett.
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
Mayor Scripture.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you, everyone, for amending the agenda. And so that would take us to public comment for items on the agenda. As Councilmember Moffett said, we're kind of leaving it on the agenda in the sense of to allow comments on that. And therefore, I would, so used to doing this on Zoom now, I'm trying to remember if we do it different face-to-face. We don't have to, I don't have to open this up with a motion, no, just
Nope.
open the, yeah, all right, okay.
You call for public comment.
We're going to go ahead and open the floor for public comment. And I believe, you just feel free to come up to the, I know it's been so long, we're all used to Zoom, right? But yes, you can feel free to come up to the podium. I think the mic's on, I assume.
Yes, Madam Mayor, if I could.
Yes.
Let's take care of the people in the room, and then we'll call on the people in the hybrid meeting.
Yes, okay. So the podium, the mic is on, and if you would be so kind as to state your name and your address, but come on up and. Perfect.
Good evening, everyone. Should we wait for Ms. Phillips, or?
I'm not sure what she just went and did. So, no, you're okay. Here she comes.
Okay.
Oh, I think she, yeah.
All right, thank you so much, and thank you for your undivided attention today. My name is Doug, this is Tracy Mueller. We live at 121 Roth, and we're here in regards to the apartment complex that is being proposed there on Main Street, on Main Street. And I can't remember the address there, whatever. 516. But I'm here today as a concerned citizen, homeowner. I also have a petition that I think we also provided you with plethora of emails as well. We have talked to many of these people. We have our neighbors here as well. Some people can't make it today, COVID, or they're still working. So I feel very honored to be here on behalf of some of these signed the proposed petition as well. And we did our due diligence when we moved here. We moved here about 6-7 years ago. We knew we had an empty parcel next to us. We came to City Hall. We made sure that it was zoned office. We wanted to make sure before we purchased the home, we didn't want, we were happy with the other offices, the single, story buildings around us and what have you. And we obviously did our due diligence about 6-7 years ago. We were comfortable. We purchased the home. And then lo and behold, we're here today in regards to this apartment complex that is now being proposed at that empty lot there. The reason why we're here again, I feel that it's gonna hurt our curb appeal on our home and everybody down the street. Other things about this apartment complex that I would want you to consider is the other buildings are single-story, story buildings, the library, the TNC credit union that's there, and also that was mentioned in one of the PC meetings that if this PUD is granted, that means it opens up the whole street for the most part. And it was confirmed in one of the planning commission meetings as well. And that means that anybody else could come in down the street on Main Street and also ask for a PUD. To me, Main Street is a heartbeat of the downtown for Clawson. And with all the nice setbacks, the greenery, all the buildings set back, I think it's a very peaceful drive into Main Street and coming into the downtown area. And to put this apartment complex right on the sidewalk, I understand that they're proposing an office, and then attached to the office is gonna be the apartment. But again, it's right on the sidewalk. All the other buildings are set back, a lot of greenery. It's a very nice street. Main Street is a beautiful street, and I feel that it's a heartbeat of coming into downtown. And I think we'd be giving up a lot if we were to put this apartment complex there too. My other concern is the library. The library is a beautiful library. It's pristine. Clawson, the city of Clawson maintains it very well. The other thing is it's a small parcel. Obviously, if we go outside, you can see the parcel right across the street. And for such a large building, I think they're gonna use the library as a second parking lot. It's gonna be a turnaround. I see it every day. I live right across the street from the library. I see people parking there a lot, and, yeah, they drop off, you know, a couple things, they all carpool, they take off. So it's being used right now, but it's a cut-through, it's a turnabout. And again, the exit for this apartment complex is gonna be right onto Roth. So obviously, when they come out onto Roth, boom, left turn, you know, right down there, cut through. So it's gonna also put a lot of traffic and a safety concern if, again, the school is gonna be consolidated, right across the street. You know how busy Main Street is already, and I think with this complex, that is being proposed, and again, I'm not against development. I'm against this type of development. I don't mind a medical building or another office building that's consistent with the other buildings around. And this is gonna be 2 or 3 stories high, that is not gonna be consistent with the other buildings around there. And again, with all the noise that and the neighbors are gonna have to endure, we put a lot of time and money into our home, and I don't wanna hurt my asset, my value, because let's face it, if I have a family that wants to look at my home to purchase my home, they see this apartment complex next to me, boom, I'm gonna lose my clients for my home. That's not gonna be a selling point, an apartment complex next to me. So I just feel that being here as a very concerned resident, and I understand your decision is the full scope of your decision entitles with Clausen, because you're looking for the best interests of Clausen. An apartment complex, I don't know. Office building, they're gonna pay taxes, they're gonna use the downtown. I moved my business down to the downtown area. I take my staff out. I have my clients come into Clausen, and I don't run around. I ask them, where do you wanna go? People love coming into Clausen, the downtown area. I do a lot of entertaining in Clausen and stuff. You know, 15, 16 rooms in an apartment complex is not gonna make or break the downtown. I see it every day. The place is packed. The restaurants are doing great right now. The foot traffic is great. The coffee shop right next to me, what is it?
Sabbath.
Black Sabbath, or Sabbath Coffee, oh, that's right, yeah. Sabbath Coffee, all right. Yeah. You know, they have lines all the time. I come on out, I look around and stuff. Everything's thriving at 7:30 in the morning and stuff. It's doing very nice. I love the city. I'm a concerned citizen. I don't wanna go through the pros and cons, but I think you see our point of view here and stuff. I will say as well too, and I don't wanna complain constantly, but there's no other dumpsters too. I have an apple tree behind my house as well too, but I got tons of possums, I got raccoons and stuff that come in and eat my apples. If this apartment complex has this dumpster, I know I'm gonna have even other rodents in my backyard and what have you. But I just figured that I wanted to come here today as again, a very concerned citizen down my street. And again, the petition, there are neighbors here that some of them don't want to come up and speak, and I get it, that's no problem. But they want to be here to represent me and watch the council on this very important item that I feel that Main Street is definitely the heartbeat of one of, Clausen's main thorough roads into Clausen. And I feel that, putting this large building on a small parcel is not in the best interest of Clausen and our street and the surrounding streets. So, Tracy, did you want to say anything?
I think he pretty much summed it up.
That's good, because I was giving you double time for 2 people.
Oh, all right, yeah.
I was like, yeah, count as one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love our home and we just really don't want to see this, not only just for us, but we just don't think it would look right at the front of a subdivision. It would be totally out of, it would just stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, and it's not, and if it was, once again, it's not consistent with the other buildings that are around there. And so that's our concern as well too. And again, with the noise factor and all the other stuff comes along with the apartments. And I'm not saying it's not a bad building or it's beautiful, and I know you're gonna hear that the building's beautiful and all the material he's using is great. That's great. I enjoy, listening to that. I'm a business person as well too, but, it goes both ways, and I understand you have to make your decisions for the city of Clausen, but I hope you respect our decision and also respect us as well, plus as the petitions that were signed by over 180 some people, so.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll yield back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else in the audience? And then we'll go to that wanted to speak on this? Or am I suspecting we've got covered a lot of it? Ken, do you want to see?
Yep. I'll take it from here.
Okay.
Okay, anyone that is online that would like to make public comment will need you to raise your virtual hand. Typically, the way you do that, most devices, is you click on participants at the bottom. That will open up a dialog box, and from there, you'll see the raise hand feature. We do have one person in the queue right now. We're going to go ahead and call on this person to make their comment. So KSE, if you could, please state your name and address for the record and proceed with your comment.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, Council. Hello, I'm the Karen Erickson at 55 East Baker, who, along with others living close to 516 North Main, have been sharing thoughts with you on this PUD since we first heard about its proposal in January. I hope you've been able to read our messages. But now we're here, waiting as you decide our fate and Clausen's fate. I believe this PUD is civically wrong for the city because of its location and its zoning, which seems to allow very many concessions from normal requirements, including its 35-foot height and setbacks along Main and Roth, which leave very little green space to complement, especially the Main Street lots. And it gives other variances, allowing it to be squeezed all this stuff onto this little spot. The builder has also expressed interest in putting more apartments along North Main. And I and others believe that any new apartments built on Main Street will irreversibly change the city's tone. Though not alone, I will be forever sad if the city takes the path of phasing out Clausen's current image and phasing in the crammed and jammed look in other cities around us. In the city's master plan, I found some realtors had said some clients asked specifically for Clausen above other communities in the metro area. They want the retro feel of the city, embracing its Mayberry feel, the feel I so love about our city, and the one we don't have to drive to find. And since I've already sent you so many of my own thoughts against this PUD, and I hope you've read them or have read them, I would like to pass along 2 quotes others have written saying great things about our city, or I consider them great things anyway, they're small. The first was posted on Facebook from a website called Only in Your State, dated last May 1st by Sophie Boudreau. It's entitled 12 Understated Michigan Towns That Deserve a Second Look. Clausen was listed 10th, but it wasn't a contest, it was just a list. And it shows, as I quote the author, why Clausen deserves a second look as others seek small communities that are different from their look-alike neighbors. Boudreau wrote, everyday visitors will absolutely adore the area's friendly neighborhoods, green parks, and open space. That's all it says, but that says so much. So if people both in and out of Clausen think it stands out just as it is, I am convinced we should not deal away the last 3 green lots, of which 2 are also the last zoned office lots on North Main, to apartment builders, or even allowing them to tear down the existing single-family homes on North Main that are already built on what is now zoned multifamily homes. SEMCOG, the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments, reported on page 12 in our master plan a projected population of around 12,300 in 2040. About 500 more than 2020, but 400 less than the year 2000. Don't we already have enough apartments with those that are now still being built? And because a builder offers to fill a vacant space with apartments, do we have to let him? The second quote is from our city's own website, and the author is unknown by me. The city of Clausen is best described as a community of neighbors that offers a friendly, small-town atmosphere where all amenities are within walking distance in our 2.2 square mile community. We work together to be a desirable place to live, work, and raise a family. And to me, small-town atmosphere does not mean tons of IKEA-sized apartments with little room for children to play, but keeping our identity as a family city with friendly businesses and well-kept neighbors while keeping close tabs on what's going on in the cities around us, but mindful of our own uniqueness and not copying others. Someone carefully chose those words to describe Clausen for the world to see. And many here are hopeful that our officials tonight can find their way to keep this description of Clausen as true in the future as it says on our webpage today. And thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Karen.
Okay, we're going to make one last appeal to anyone that would like to speak in public comment online. If you'd like to speak, we ask that you raise your virtual hand.
Ken, I'm going to ask real quick, if there anybody that wants to speak on the PUD, keep it all together, because in case someone, let's ask that first. Does anybody want to speak on the PUD
Yes.
first?
If anyone would like to speak on the PUD, we ask that you raise your virtual hand.
And I have a question, August, while we're waiting. I believe Susan Phillips sent in something ahead of time that she asked to have in the minutes.
Is it in the pack? Is that the one that's in the packet?
I
There's a couple different
think so.
things
Was it
based on
supposed
this
to be-
in the packet.
Did she not ask to have it read, or was she reading it, or I just want to check, 'cause I thought I saw her on, yeah, I think I see her on there. Oh, her hand's up, okay.
Yeah, and then it's in here. so
Okay, all right, so it's in there for the
I
minutes.
did see it in here.
Ken, Sue Phillips has her,
Yes. Susan Phillips, if you could, we ask that you unmute yourself and state your name and address for the record and proceed with your comment. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Susan Phillips, and I've lived in Clausen since 1978. And I just wanted to agree with what with Karen Erickson said and what the Mullers said, that it really would change the whole character of our downtown area by shortening that setback. And also, my concern was that we're going to overwhelm our sewage system and our electrical system, which are already giving us all some trouble. So that was my concern. And I do have another topic I wanted to discuss, but do you want to wait to see if somebody wants to talk further about the PUD?
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, okay. The other concern that I had was about the RICO letter that I saw in the city packet. The RICO letter was dated April 20th, and it didn't appear in the council packet until June 15th. And I just wondered, why wasn't this presented at, as soon as it was received? And, what about transparency? Because it does affect us as a city if we are in a position where we could be sued by either businesses or residents who lose income because of marijuana businesses. So those were my two questions. Why wasn't it presented in April, and what happened to transparency? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. So anybody else on the PUD?
Thank you. We did have a caller join. Caller, if you'd like to speak on the PUD, you need to press star 9 on your keypad to raise your virtual hand. Again, if the caller that just joined would like to speak, please press star 9 on your keypad to see for us to see your virtual hand. Okay, seeing no other hands raised at this time, Madam Mayor?
Actually, I think there might be someone here for another issue or another comment. So I just thought it'd be easier to get the PUD captured together. So if anybody else had any other comments for items on the agenda? And if not, then we will go ahead and close it out, because we'll have opportunity for comments later for items not on the agenda. All right, seeing nobody in the audience and seeing nobody raising their virtual hand, we will go ahead and close public comment for items on the agenda. And with that, and thank you very much, everyone, for sharing your thoughts. With that, we would move on to consideration of approving the following consent agenda, which would consist of the minutes of the Joint City Council Workshop meeting held on Tuesday, May 25th, 2021, as presented. Excuse me, minutes of the regular City Council meeting held on Tuesday, June 1st, 2021, as presented, and minutes of the City Council millage workshop held on Thursday, June 3rd, 2021, and the appointment of Gary Pekovsky to the Blair Memorial Library Board for the unexpired term of Claire Mann, set to expire June 30th, 2023. And I think, is there another one on there on the next page?
Yeah.
Oh, yep, got more. Appointments of Matthew Hodges as representative and Trevor Zablocki as alternative soccer terms to expire June 30th, 2022. Appointments of Matt Hodges as representative and Trevor Zablocki as alternate to South Oakland County Water Authority SACWA, terms to expire June 30th, 2022. The acceptance of the Michigan Arbor Day Alliance tree planting grant in the amount of $2,000. And, yeah, that's a good thing. Let's do that. And a list of bills is presented in the amount of $584,317. I would entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I move the consent agenda be approved as presented.
I'll support.
Anything?
I have a question. I'm curious why the last budget meeting wasn't included, the minutes from last week, the 9th or whatever day it was. We had the budget meeting?
For the workshop?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I sent them over and I don't know.
Should those not have been included?
Mike's on there.
Mike's on. Can I ask Mike? Well, I guess.
Hi, Mike. I hope you're feeling better. My question is, I didn't see the minutes from the last budget meeting that we held last Wednesday or Thursday.
Yes, there was a mix-up between August and myself with not including it on there. We had posted to the site, but there was email exchange later on. So it was just it can be approved at the next agenda, or I mean, the next council meeting, if so.
Yeah,
They are online. That's why I would, I put them up.
they postponed it till next week.
Oh, thank you. I was just curious. Usually they're there.
Councilmember Moffett? No? Okay. All right. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Moffett,
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips,
Yes.
Councilmember Sampson,
Yes.
Mayor Scripture,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Milan.
Yes.
Passes, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you. Well, now we have, and appreciate your patience back there, we have our new patrol officer, Elena Barnett, and Chief Scott Cervello, I hope, is about to come up here and introduce her, and then after her, he'll be introducing our new clerk, Kimberly Dale.
Madam Mayor, Council, good to see everybody. Is this mic working?
I don't know, it doesn't, either you're just too tall, and you need to raise it, yeah, let the highly capable new officer show you how to do that.
I'll talk loud, not a big deal. This is Elena Barnett, our new police officer. She grew up in the... Is that better?
It's picking it up on Zoom. You can see it, so.
Is that any better?
Come up here. I can hear. Yeah, you can come up, take pictures. Come up, take pictures. Do not be shy. That is an okay thing. It's an absolute great, all the way. Don't worry about us, just come on up and take your picture.
I told you, come right up front.
Yeah,
Don't
he's
be
right.
shy.
He's not kidding. It's
I said,
okay.
come on in.
It's a good thing.
All right, this is Elena Barnett, our new police officer. Elena grew up in the city of Warren, graduating from Cousineau High School.
No.
Cousineau? All right. She played basketball in high school and also was a drum major for the marching band. She then attended Macomb Community College, where she received her associate's degree, and then she went on to Ferris State, and she received her bachelor's degree in criminal justice. She then entered the Macomb Police Academy, graduating in August of 2020. Her references described Elena. These are people she's known for a long time, so it's all going to be good. As a leader, a very kind person, very thoughtful, honest, intelligent, a hard worker, level-headed, and a fair person. Exactly the type of police officer we're looking for the city of Clawson. Elena started on May 24th, working the day shift for us. She worked the first few days to complete lots of paperwork for human resources and doing some computer training as well. She's currently assigned to the midnight shift with Officer Paul Dar as her training officer. She's progressing very well on getting to know the city. She's in phase 1 of 3 phases of her 12-week training process. Elena has family and friends in attendance then, as you can see up here with the cameras, and her biggest fan is her mother, Jean, who's been her biggest supporter of her career choice. So thank you for supporting her and letting her come aboard. With that being said, do you have the oath of office?
Do it again?
Yeah, come on down and
Get your cameras ready.
You're probably going to want to.
Seriously,
Yeah, you can come, really, you can come up. It's
Yeah, feel free
okay.
to stand in front of us. It's no big deal. It's more important you
Get
see.
good pictures. You're only going to get one shot, man. This is it.
It's extra special because we share a first name to get.
Oh, far out. Okay.
So I was like, here's HR paperwork, what? So, okay, raise your hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state,
the Charter of the City of Clawson,
the Charter of the City of Clawson,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
of the Office of Patrol Officer
of the Office of Patrol Officer
in and for the City of Clawson,
in and for the City of Clawson,
County of Oakland,
County of Oakland,
State of Michigan,
State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Yes, get pictures.
And I also just want to say thank you for this opportunity. It's nice to meet all of you, and I'm very happy to be here.
We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Now back to work.
Come on up, Kimberly Dale.
All right, next we have Kimberly Dale.
Now, you do understand that because she did it once, you now have to have that memorized? No, you're not swearing in. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
This is the newest member of the Police Department, Administrative Clerk Kimberly Dale, who is replacing Teresa Dorsett, who's retiring after 33 years. Kimberly grew up in Clawson, but moved to South Carolina with her family in 2008. She started in customer service in South Carolina, then took a job with a law firm. And eventually in 2017, Kim was hired by the Dorchester County Sheriff's Office in South Carolina as an administrative clerk, which kind of works out perfectly well for the position that we hired her for. Her supervisors at the time described her as a hard worker, loyal, dedicated to the job, and a joy to have her on the office. Her captain was very sad to see her leave and had trouble actually talking to me on the phone. So he said, I want to tell you bad things so she doesn't leave, but I know it's inevitable. So glowing recommendation. Like I said, she started on June 1st. She's currently in training and replacing Teresa, and we welcome Kim to the Clawson Police Department family.
Now, I think he's trying to get a good shot of you, and you keep looking down, so I think you need to, and she's looking frantic like, I need a good shot. So let's do this right, people.
That's Daddy's little girl.
I figured. That's why we're going to do this right.
Knowing Scott for a long time, and everybody here, Kathy and Lou and all through here, so this is important to me.
That's right.
Get in the middle, so you can
Yeah, take some pictures. You get your
Get in the
chance. It's
middle.
okay.
Yeah, I want Scott to do my intros.
No,
He's really good at it.
he is.
Write me something up, I'll read it. That's the older sister, right? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mayor and Council, I appreciate it.
Welcome. And this is why, while Zoom has many advantages, you cannot beat a face-to-face and an opportunity to meet people. So thank you. All right. We have taken off the agenda the next two items, B1 and 2. Well, we have the public comment. And move the other one down. So we're going to skip down to, we have no public hearings this evening. And then, yeah, now's the time to, everybody that's like, okay, we saw what we came for. Run while you can, because all the boring stuff's now. All right. So next on the agenda, we have a discussion on the budget adoption process for the 2021-22 fiscal year. Mr. Smith. Yeah, look, everybody else ran too. Thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. This evening, we wanted to have this discussion after the last workshop on the 10th to state what moving forward. Kelly and I have spoken, along with Rennis and I, that we would propose that you recommend approval of the fiscal year budget because some of the ramifications of not doing that, of course, would be a potential having to lay off staff and stuff by July 1st and other things like that. Kelly's done an amazing job presenting all the information that you've requested, and we feel that moving forward, if there's any items that need to be addressed, they can be through budget amendments throughout the following year. So I don't know if I know Kelly's present there as well. If she has anything to interject as well.
Nope, yes, no, no, okay. All right,
Madam Mayor,
yes.
I'd like to make a motion to do a continuing resolution on the budget we have right now for one more month and direct the administration to have a final budget by the second meeting in July.
And how do we get there in between?
There's a lot of steps. Have the city manager put together a schedule of
We'll get a second first and then.
What did you ask for? I'm
a
sorry.
continuing resolution of
In
this
your
year's
mic.
budget. Continuing resolution of this year's budget for 1 month until the July, second meeting in July. That way we just stay on as everything status quo for 1 more month and then give the administration a month to answer our questions.
I'll second. For discussion. Now, what were you going to say about how we're going to get there?
Well, we're going to need a couple meetings or however the administration wants to do it. There's a lot of unanswered questions. I asked for some stuff in the last meeting, or the budget meeting, and I haven't gotten it yet. And I think we need to put together one more workshop to get some of these answered.
I seconded, so I guess. I would rather do a continuing resolution, because we're not going to shut the city down, that's for sure. I, too, have lots of concerns, unanswered questions. The information, I don't feel like to say, Mr. Smith just said, oh, if we don't do this, we're going to have layoffs and stuff. Well, none of that's been presented or discussed or shown, or there's nothing in this that gives any kind of a clear explanation and analysis. There's no analysis whatsoever in any of this information that adds context. It's the same thing we asked for last time and the time before, and we still don't have it. I don't understand some things on this. I don't understand the amendments, but that's later, so we'll get there. I don't understand a lot of stuff, and I still have a lot of questions. So I'm not comfortable voting for the new budget either. Councilmember Phillips, did you have any comments? Kathy?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. You can't do that when I think.
Sorry, I had to process. Sorry.
Councilmember Moffett.
You said you still have questions. Have you submitted the questions to the finance director so she can address them?
I'm a little tired of taking time off of work to constantly submit questions when I've asked several times to just have a sit-down meeting and talk things out. And so, no, I have not.
So work's 40 hours.
And plus, we didn't get this until, again, Sunday at 2:30.
There's plenty of other days. I am sick of the showmanship of continuing to delay. What's going to change in the month? Nothing's going to be different. You have questions, then ask them. We're not moving towards any sort of resolution to this. There's just this continued game playing, and it's the citizens of Clawson deserve better than this, and that's. We had 2 workshops when you were on your temper tantrum. We had 2 workshops since then. We've had 4 workshops. There's no new information. There's nothing different. We've been given all the information. If you don't understand it, then present your questions. And to say that you need to take time off work, there's 40 hours, there's weekend, there's evenings, there's plenty of time for you to gather your thoughts and send them in. That's what the people of Clawson deserve.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I I'm not in favor of delaying this any longer. The process itself allows for changes to take place in a timely manner. I feel like at this point, this is some sort of a personal vendetta, which I don't begin to understand. I think we're doing a disservice to the professionals who work for the city by saying that they're incapable of putting together a budget for us and for us to move forward with it. You can address all of your questions as we move along. We still have control over the purse strings of this city for the things that we have control over the purse strings for. I think it's just extremely disrespectful, and I value the questions that you have, and I'm sure they value the questions that you have as well. But there's a process in place, and the first complaint about the budget was we didn't have enough information. We didn't get it in time. Well, we've had information. It's been building. We can't say we don't have any information at this point. So I don't understand what the real reason is that we can't just approve this and move on.
I agree that there has been, the real reason we can't approve it is because, or that I do not feel I can approve it, I can't say we, that I don't feel I can vote for it is because the questions are not answered over and over. They're asked and they are not answered. There are things in here that I have concerns about that every time I ask, I get a side answer or a half answer or a non-answer. And I think that's exactly our job, is to represent the citizens of Clawson to make sure that the tax dollars, because that's what these are, and the fees and everything else that people pay are spent appropriately. And I have an extensive background, and when I say I don't understand it, that's not because I don't understand numbers, it's because these numbers don't work.
Well, I would say that we're elected not to be the finance director, not to be the city manager or any other department head or worker throughout the city. We're elected to be oversight, and part of that position is to allow people to do their jobs and to trust what they give to us. And I just think it sets a horrible message that we are setting the tone that we don't trust anyone. I just think that's wrong.
I don't trust the numbers. I didn't say I don't trust people.
Well, it doesn't, if I were watching and didn't see things or sit through 4 meetings for great reasons, I would not think so. I would think it seems like something else.
And it's also an insult to our finance director. She's a qualified professional, and she's developed the budget. And your comments are, if I were her, I would take it as a personal affront, and I think it's inappropriate.
I actually take it as a personal affront and an insult to this council that I cannot get answers to the questions that I continue to ask.
Well, it's
So I
unfair
feel
to
the
say
same.
you didn't receive any answers to your questions because you gave a 4-page list of questions.
And I didn't get answers to half of them.
She gave you an answer to most, I don't know, I didn't go through and do a tick mark to see what's there and what wasn't, but we had a meeting last week that was, I don't know, 2.5 hours or something of our time, and that was the time to address those questions. Probably not now, but it seemed then that this was going to happen again, and I mean, I think we should just vote. I think we're going back and forth for no reason on a lot of things right now, and I think I personally would like to see things move forward. I'm sure a lot of other people would too, but if the game's to go round and round, I guess we'll just go round and round, and when it's time, we'll all go, wee. So let's vote.
All right.
I do
Oh,
have one more thing to say. In regards to whether we're for this or against it, and the comments that were made that we owe it to the citizens of Clawson to do this, I personally feel I owe it to the citizens of Clawson to totally understand the budget and get all my questions answered before I just blindly accept the budget and expect to make movements later. So that is where I'm coming from. It's not, I'm just not comfortable voting yes for something that I still have questions on.
Why did we
Can you
vote?
answer a question, Kathy?
I'm sorry, you said you wanted to go ahead. Go ahead.
Answer a
Councilmember
question.
Sampson.
Because when you were in council before, the budgets were
Point of order.
presented in exactly the
were
same
not.
form.
They were
Yes,
not.
they were.
They were
Yes,
not.
No, they weren't.
I went through 8 years of budgets, and they were never presented this way.
Never.
How about last year? Last year, we took.
As long as I was on council, they were presented this way.
But they were never done this way for the 8 years I was on council. So I don't know how they were done for you, but I'm not
Exactly the same way
comfortable
they had
with the
been.
way.
Councilmember Sampson?
What she's done. Madam Mayor, I don't want to rubber stamp anything. I don't want to pass a budget that people say, don't worry about it, we can amend it in a couple of weeks. We got to start off with something that we think's right. And then we can amend it if we have to for other reasons, not because, hey, we threw this together and we're going to amend it and get it right later on. So I'm going to vote against it because we got to start off with a decent budget, and I'm not going to rubber stamp something just because it's convenient for people. So the
None of
continuing
this is
resolution will.
Mr. Getchlag? Call the vote.
Call the roll. Councilmember Phillips.
This is to approve the budget?
No,
This is the continuing resolution
Oh,
until, I
yes.
believe, July 20th, what you said, second meeting in July?
Yes.
To
Okay.
Revisit.
I'm sorry, your vote? I'm sorry? Yes, okay, thank you. Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
Mayor Scripture.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Milan.
No.
Councilmember Moffett.
No.
That motion passes.
All right, so we have a continuing resolution to extend the official adoption of the 2021-22 fiscal year budget to the second meeting, to revisit it
In
at the
July.
second meeting in July? July.
May I ask a
For the
question?
that'll be the final.
Kelly, can I make an appointment with you to sit down and actually one-on-one go through a couple questions?
Yes, anytime you want to come in, I will be available with the exception of tomorrow. I will be gone in the afternoon, but anytime. Just
Okay.
stop in.
I'll do
You
it
don't
one
even
day
need to make
next
an
week
appointment.
because I can't do it over the phone.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have consideration of approving the annual millage rates for fiscal year July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2020. And I move that we approve the annual millage rates as presented
I'll support that.
for fiscal year July 21 to 22. You support? Any, I have nothing. Thank you very much for the meeting where we got an excellent explanation and some background, and we're allowed to ask questions and get stuff, so appreciate that. Anybody else? No? Kathy?
No, I was
Well, I was
happy
good
with the way it was
millage,
explained.
the explanation.
Mayor Pro Tem? Councilmember Moffett?
No.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
Mayor Scripture.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Milan.
Yes.
Councilmember Moffett.
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Passes, Madam Mayor.
All right, Stacy, I think that will make you very happy. All right, next on the agenda, we have consideration of approving the water consumption rate of 29.32 per 1,000 cubic feet, sewer consumption rate of 82.71 per 1,000 square feet, sewer debt charge, fixed debt charge of $9, billing charge of $14.71 per quarter for water and $21.21 for sewer, and the industrial waste control charges for non-residential users to be effective July 1st, 2021. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we do a continuing resolution on the rates we have today for 1 month. until-
I'll second. Did you want to talk about it?
That's part of the questions that I had that I haven't gotten the answer for yet, and everybody was sure they knew what I wanted, but they haven't gotten anything yet, so.
I'm going to come back to myself because I have several comments and questions on it. So Kathy, did you want to go ahead? I mean, I'll go back around to you if you want to.
Yeah, go back around.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem?
I believe we've done this before, but is there anyone available who can tell us how we arrive at our rates? And it could also explain why these rates are valid for the services that the use and all of that, please and thank you. I know residents are concerned. They always think we pay too much for water and sewer. Sewer's horribly high, but Could you please explain what control we do or do not have regarding this process? Thank you very much.
Hopefully you can hear me. Okay, as far as the water and sewer rates, I did send information along to council, I believe, last week. The way that the rates are set are based on actual cost from SACWA, and as well as the cost associated with personnel services, other water and sewer services, professional services, depreciation. So all of that is based within the rates on what the estimated usage is for the entire year, which we received from SACWA. I believe it was 35 or 40,000 units of water. So I don't have the actual.
I'm actually just more concerned with.
Pardon me?
I'm really more concerned with, layman's understanding of, are we just picking these numbers from nowhere? Are
No.
we just assigning, is this a way to put money in our coffers? Just some stability on why.
No, so
why
we
it
would
is
get,
this?
we get a bill, estimated bill for the entire year from SACWA. With that, we divide in what the estimated usage of water for the entire city. So that gives us a flat rate per unit of water, per cubic foot, or for the consumption of the water. Along with that, we do include personnel services, professional services, supplies. So if that were to add up to, say, $200,000, we would divide what the estimated usage of the water for the entire year is for the whole community. And that would be the unit rate. So once the unit rates are determined, then it would be based on how many units a resident or a commercial building uses for that month. So if they were to use 5 units of water, their rate would be, make sure I get the right year here, $44 per unit.
And the services, how many full-time employees do you have in there? How much trucks do you have? And that's a question I asked. I've seen a worksheet that we got before.
I believe between water and sewer, it was 5 staff.
5 full-time staff always working in the water department?
They work in various departments, so we
It'd be a
budget
percentage.
them, we budget them based on their home department.
That was a
If they
worksheet.
work in other departments, they're
Yeah.
charged to those departments
Yeah.
and not water or sewer.
That was the worksheet. I wanted to see what percentage they were all working. Because I know we don't have 5
I
people.
don't have that percentage. It changes throughout the year. I asked the DPW superintendent for some type of estimated percentage, and he was not able to provide that.
Did you have anything else?
No.
I didn't have my opportunity to speak yet. So they're proposing that 1 month of the third quarter be calculated at a different rate than the other 2 months of the third quarter, and we're billed quarterly. How complicated will that make the billing process?
I would have to check with, trying to think of the girl's name, but BSNA can.
Lisa.
BSNA can do it. I'm not sure how complicated it is, but it is, they are able to provide that.
Okay.
They may have to do a average or something for the 3 months.
Did you have
So
any-
we would be
determine.
billed on an average versus?
No, so if it were $44 for 2 months and $40 for 1 month, they would average that out to get what the actual charge should be.
So at the end of the day, the rates are.
That's my guess.
I get,
how they
but
would
so
do
what
it.
you're saying, though, what I'm hearing is that at the end of the day, we actually wouldn't be billing 1 month at a different rate. We'd be taking an average of the rates and billing.
I can't say for certain
Yeah.
how they would do it in the BSNA system.
But, okay.
It would end up with the one rate and then 2 months at the other rate.
But because we don't, unless we read the meters at the end of July, and then read the meters at the end of August, right? No,
Yes, you would
September. Right, there's no way that the citizens would really practically be billed the current rates and the other rates. So we would add complication. We would have to send people to go out and read the meters so that July is billed at the current rates and the other 2 months are billed at whatever new rates we're establishing. So we're adding all kinds of crazy complexity, again, for games.
If the meters are not read monthly, then yes, you are correct.
Thank you.
They're read quarterly, I believe.
Yeah, but if we're going to do 1 month at one rate and 2 months at a different rate, you'd have to read them at the end of 1 month to practically apply what he's suggesting.
But if the rates are wrong, why would we want to charge the citizens a wrong rate?
The rates, we have no reason to believe the rates are wrong.
Can I go ahead and ask some questions
Yeah.
then? Okay, so my first question is, you included on the stuff that you put in the packet with the water rates and everything, you included the IWC charges, the industrial waste, I think it's control charges. And my question is, or I have a few questions on that. First question is, we get charged that through whom? LEWA? And how does, so they charge us for industrial waste control, and according to the chart that you included there, there's, so many businesses, so many over. How do they know who those businesses are and how to bill us?
That information comes from Matt. I don't know how GLEWA prepares the billing, but Matt provides us which commercial buildings are subject to the IWC.
Actually, I believe the city manager is the contact for GLEWA, not Mr. Hodges. So we don't know how GLEWA gets those numbers. So then my next question is, how did we apply those numbers? Where are those numbers? You just put the list in there, and the motion that we were asked to do had to do with approving that. Where are those numbers, that industrial waste control in anywhere?
The IWC is not part of any of the residential or majority of the commercial businesses. It's a flat rate charged to us by GLEWA on a flat rate per month. We, in turn, will need to identify which commercial resident or which commercial businesses are subject to that charge. So if there were, I don't remember the number of businesses, maybe 40 or 50, they would be charged to cover that charge for GLEWA.
Okay. So in the, let's see, I believe the number is 6. Let's see, because in the chart that you put in there, the breakdown, which one of these numbers is it? I think it's the sewer, the sewer per unit number. And, yeah, let's see, I think last year it was 649, so then combined with a couple other numbers to come up with that. So how did the consumption sewer rate number, not the fix that we get from the GLEWA and all those alphabet soup of sewer people, how was that number derived? What were specifically what was in that number?
Specifically, I do not have that in front of me, but there are certain charges, trying to recall at the moment, where we get outside charges from GLEWA as well as SACWA.
No, that wouldn't be SACWA and sewer, no.
So we get, trying to go by memory. I'll have to get back with you on that one. I don't have that in front of me.
So.
But they are actual charges that we have to pay to outside vendors such as Glue.
Well, no, there's
And
two
then
separate
with that-
components.
Pardon me?
There's two separate components. There's the fix that we get billed for, and then there's the amount that we determine as a city based on consumption. So that's a component of the whole thing, right? So SACWA, GLEWA, whatever, they send us this,
Correct.
they tell us these are the rates.
Yes.
We don't have that choice.
Correct.
Then there's the section of those for sewer and water that we use that we base on our operational costs for water and
It's all
sewer.
combined.
Well, it's
In that
separated
rate.
out in what you gave us.
It's all combined in the consumption.
But it's, what I'm saying is the actual rates are separated out by what you gave us. And so if you look at the sewer, the numbers, let's see, I think the total is $12.27 if you just do sewer operating and maintenance. If you take out the charges that come to us, that was for last year, not this year. I'm looking at that one, not the proposed. Let's see. And what makes up that amount as of the last billing cycle, not the proposed, but the last time, which I'm not sure what this one is based on, which is why, because it's actually more. It is more than it was last time. That sewage part, the operational sewage component, not what's passed through or what we're told we have to do, is more this time. And that amount, last time, what was included in that number was depreciation, personnel, equipment rental, and IWC charges.
No,
Yes.
no.
I can do the math. I verified the math. IWC charges were included in one of the breakdown of those numbers in the 7422 that was from last year. And I have the breakdown. So, and per unit, the sewer per unit was $74.22 for last year. Forget this year because, just trying to understand, that's the one I have the context for. Of that amount, $20.48 was a disposal charge that we have no control over. Stormwater charges from GWK we have no control over. Also included was sewer operating maintenance expense. And in that sewer operating maintenance expense was sewer, IWC, stormwater, and depreciation, personnel, all that stuff. So that number was in there. And then, even though depreciation was in there from the department, there was a whole nother thing that said sewer depreciation costs for $5.78. The total of that, total sewer consumption charge on our end that we calculated, not that we're told to charge, was $74.22. And that jives with the prior list that was in the information. And IWC was in it. And that number, that 7422, carries forward. It's the uniform. I mean, it's either 100 and monthly or whatever, but the annual number is the same. And that was carried forward on the residential billing.
Madam Mayor,
And, yes.
may I interrupt you for a moment? May I caution that we tread lightly on this topic, perhaps get you some answers further down the road?
Certainly. But when might I get those answers? Because I've asked them over and over. I said, what does our fee make up of? And I asked very specifically, I've done my research on what goes into those and why they may be issues. So when do I get those answers?
I have not received any request from you regarding those fees. I can give those to you.
No, I send them through the city
I can give
manager
those
because
to
that's
you
what I'm told to
before I
do.
leave before the end of the night. And IWC has not been included in any rates for several years.
This is last year I'm looking at. And what about depreciation?
I
Okay,
will
sorry,
work-
you asked?
No, you're fine.
Fine.
If
You
we
asked, I
may-
will not pursue that.
Thank you.
But when am I going to get that opportunity?
Yeah, I won't speak for the city manager, but I will speak for myself in that I will contact the city manager, and I'll get together with Ms. Rao and Mr. Smith, and we'll get that to you forthwith.
Not just to me, we're going to have conversations.
Well, to council forthwith is the meeting.
So, no, I refuse to vote for the new water rates because if we have made errors in the past, and this is the thing that I am absolutely baffled at, nobody in this, well, most of us in this room, were not part of any errors that might have been made in the past or any, whether they were innocent or not. And people sometimes don't know. They make them advice, whatever. I don't care. Nobody here was part of it. I don't understand why it is so, people are digging their heels in and saying, well, okay, let's take a look at that and see if mistakes were made because it might be important going forward to get it right for more reasons than just, we want to be right.
Did we not approve the rates last year?
We did.
We approved the rates last year, right?
Yeah.
We did.
All of us.
Everybody here approved the rates last year.
We did.
That's what I thought.
And last year, when we approved them, let's see, it was only a few months, we had COVID, and everything exploded. So you're right, we did, and some of these questions did not get asked. But you know what? Again, regardless of what happened in the past, it is important moving forward to say, mistakes were made, whatever, let's figure it out and do it right going forward. That, to me, it doesn't make sense. Cognitive dissonance says you dig your heels in and let's keep making the mistake because we don't want to admit we might have made one. If we made one, we'd fix it going forward. So I will be voting no. Well, actually, you did a continuing resolution,
That's
right?
You'll vote.
So I will vote, yeah, for that. Anybody else? Do you want to read the motion back?
Yes, and I was going to ask, is this, Councilman, did you want, this is the second meeting in July again, or the first meeting? So second meeting in July, that was my clarification. So a motion to pass a continuing resolution to keep the water rates the same until it can be addressed the second meeting in July.
Yep. It'll come back for a final vote.
Well, the final vote for the second meeting in July. So basically, you're postponing this until the second meeting in July.
Yeah, so we have time
with
to-
If
the rates
answers
staying the
come
same.
sooner and we can resolve it sooner, we'll resolve it.
You can bring it
sooner,
up,
too.
sure.
Yep,
Nothing's
the
stopping
same.
that.
Yep, that's, yep.
Okay.
Can you clarify that? Say that again.
A motion to keep the water rates the same until it can be brought back on the second agenda in July,
So we can get our answers.
if not sooner. You can add that part, because you did ask.
Yeah.
Or sooner.
Or sooner.
Okay.
That works.
Roll call?
Okay. Mayor Scripture.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Milan.
No.
Councilmember Moffett.
No?
Councilmember Phillips.
No.
Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
Resolution fails.
May I recommend, Madam Mayor, that we consider having another motion then to approve to see where that vote stands, or at least, at the very least, maybe bring it back next time, but we need to move on this topic.
I don't understand what you said. We just,
Well, maybe, can we consider, would someone consider making a motion
Well,
to
yeah.
actually approve? I'm sorry?
yeah. That's all you're, just, okay.
I did hear what he said.
He's just asking to make the motion to approve it. As-
I move
as it was in
I move the water consumption rate of 29.32 per 1,000 cubic feet, the sewer consumption rate of $82.71 per 1,000 cubic feet, the sewer debt fixed charge of $9, and the billing charge of $14.71 per quarter for water and $21.21 for sewer, and the industrial waste control charges for the non-residential users be effective July 1st, 2021, be approved.
Support.
Any other discussion?
So my question would be, if we did this and raised these rates, and we went back and checked these other numbers and stuff, would we be able to go back and change those numbers? Hypothetically.
Yes, anytime rates are reviewed, if there's some type of expenditure from outside sources that we weren't expecting, say, GWK increased their rates because they had an error, we would also review our rates and adjust them accordingly.
Do you know, if we're doing 29.32 per 1,000 cubic feet, what was the previous cost?
You're talking for the water rate?
Yeah.
It was 28.98.
Okay, so it's less than $1. So it's less than $1?
Yes, less than $1.
Okay. All right.
That's for water, though.
Yeah.
So
Is that all you had, Kathy?
Yep.
Oh, okay. You want a roll call?
This council is going to approve rates that we aren't sure are correct.
If it's determined that they're incorrect, we can change them.
Well, I don't think I work like that, so go ahead and call a roll.
Roll call.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Milan.
Yes.
Councilmember Moffett.
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
God, I hate this.
Say no.
Yes.
Councilmember Sampson.
No.
Mayor Scripture.
No.
Motion passes.
All right, then moving on to the next item on the agenda, consideration of approving the fourth quarter 2020, I'm assuming that's a typo.
It is a typo, Madam Mayor.
2021 fiscal year budget amendments as presented. Anybody?
Which one are you on?
E. The bottom page.
I move the fourth quarter 2020 and 2021, right? Fiscal year budget amendments be approved as presented.
Why don't I have that?
Oh, there you go. That's why. No, that's not it either, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's down here.
All right, we have a motion and support.
Do we have support?
I thought
No support.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem did. It was your motion, Councilmember Moffett.
Oh, I don't have any comments.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Call the roll.
I'm voting no, because I don't understand a single amendment that was put in front of us. I don't have hours and hours to try and trace those numbers back. There was no context, there was no memo, there was no this, there was no nothing. There's just a total number given, and again, and I don't understand why you're approving amendments. We typically don't approve year-end amendments until the year actually ends, and we have 15 days left, and then we usually do it in July when we've had a chance for everything to come in and clear. And I know there's still adjustments when the auditor comes, but, so I'm going to be voting no. Anybody?
Do we have someone to speak on it, or?
I was asking them.
It's Heather's turn.
Do you have nothing, Councilmember Sampson?
Oh, I agree with you. The year hasn't ended. So why we amended it now, we're probably going to have to amend it 2 or 3 other times probably. The explanations that we had in that package, we explained some of the changes, like this went up because of this, and this went down, and there was no explanation why it went down. So it was inconsistent on the explanations. It was just chosen 1 or 2 of the sides, it went up here, and we had an explanation for it, and that was it. We need more information why both of them changed.
Perhaps it would be beneficial if you would provide to our finance
Point of order.
director and our city manager the exact details that you will require to be able to pass anything that they put before us.
I will just make one comment regarding budget amendments. They cannot be done after June 30th. So if they are not done, budget stands.
Well, I guess you've been doing that wrong for the last 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
Right on. Do you have anything, Kathy? Call the vote?
Councilmember Moffett.
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
No. No.
No. Councilmember Sampson.
No.
Mayor Scripture.
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Milan.
Yes.
10E fails, Madam Mayor.
All right, next on the agenda then is consideration of approving the proposed, proposed, Jesus, how many proposed do you need to have in a sentence? Proposed request for proposals for auditing service for the city of Clawson.
Mayor, I move the proposed request for proposals, RFP, for auditing services for the city of Clawson be approved.
Support that.
Your motion, any comments?
No, it's just time that we research it,
Councilmember
see if we're
Sampson?
getting the best bang for the buck.
My exact reasonings were, we've been with the same people for quite a while. It's time to research it. And
Councilmember Moffett?
Nope.
Mayor Pro Tem? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
Mayor Scripture.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Milan.
Yes.
Councilmember Moffett.
Yes.
Passes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda, we have consideration of approving a resolution for charter revision ballot proposal for submission to the electors of the city, and I'm going to ask Mr. Nishai and Mr. Smith to take that over. Well, actually, go ahead and make a motion first, and then I'll make it. I motion that we approve a resolution for charter revision ballot proposal for submission to the electors of the city.
I'll support that.
All right, now yes. Before we do discussion, do you want to?
I think Mike may have put that together. I
yes.
don't know. I won't steal his thunder, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Sorry, when he's not in the room, it's hard to.
The mayor, you presented your memo. If you want to, that was your request to place this on the agenda.
Okay, well, I was just following up on the presentation that you made, which I have always said was, I thought was good. It explained a lot of things. It pointed out the differences. And if anything, I will go ahead and take the full heat of this one. I mean, if there's a shining example of why this charter needs to be revised, I'd say me sitting up here would be one of them. And I think that it basically mirrors what you've already presented. The other three options, the two options, would distract the city council from other business that's very important and undone, as we can tell. And it's longer, takes forever, and I think it's better to take it to the residents and let them elect people. I think we'll get 9. To sit on that charter revision committee and do the work and get it done. And that's why I wanted to revisit.
The main question that August and I had as well is, basically this is to approve that you want to have the language drafted that Rennis, August, and I can work on. And then at the July 6th, whether or not you want to have a concurrent resolution where you also move forward with the language, which is a simple sentence, as Rennis and I have spoken about, shall the 1960 charter, 1940 actually,
40.
charter be amended? And then the next question would be, do you want to have the elected commissioner be on the November, that people can file for office as well? Because we were looking at other communities that some are following suit where they're doing the charter language first and then doing an election of officers later. So I guess that's the question. Do you want us to come back with the final thing at the July 6th discussion, or are you going to approve the two?
Well, okay, so my question is when you presented it, I believe you presented it with if I remember going back to that other agenda from whatever that meeting was, I thought that you had put both of those on there.
I did, and that's what I'm asking is we want clarification this evening.
I'm going back to what you originally suggested, exactly as you suggested it and proposed it, and that's what I'm
Understood.
mirroring. But my question now is, and I believe I had asked if we could get that language ready for tonight, just in case, it's also easier to see the language, but July 6th, then we only have people that would be, July 20th? Is the deadline?
I believe so.
July 20th for,
It's a Tuesday, yes.
so I guess I would ask, is that enough time? That's why I was hoping we could get some language for this evening. I understand.
I'm
why not.
confused why we're talking about language when we haven't even decided that we're going to do, the council has not agreed that the way to approach amending the charter is through this commission. Like, this is the modus operandi. You're talking about the language for the method that you want, but we have not decided or had a public discussion. Well, I misspeak. We've talked about it many times. We have never agreed that this was the approach. There's been many of us who were opposed to that approach and then in favor of it, but then opposed. But we're talking about language that when we haven't even decided that's the appropriate approach.
I understand that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having stuff ready, and if it's voted down, well, then it doesn't matter. If it's voted up, then you have it ready to move forward to the next step. That's all. It doesn't mean you have to. It doesn't mean anything. It simply means it's a little bit about being prepared. But as I
think
said,
that's
I
called
understand
putting
we
the
don't have
house,
that.
or the horse before the cart, or the cart before the horse.
No, because
Yes.
the thing in front of us is approving a resolution for submitting it to the electors of the city. The language is not in front of us. I simply said it would have been a nice next step if that had been, and there's plenty of times that we have had two steps where we've separated out because we've chosen not to do one of them. That is not that uncommon. And that's okay. We don't, Mr. Nushai, you don't have the,
I don't.
Right,
No,
so
and I
you
think
weren't-
it's appropriate that council vote to be able to give us direction as to which way council chooses to go.
Right, the conversation we had was council decide what that direction is tonight.
Right.
Then we'll come with the language that matches that direction.
right. That's what he said.
So you have to amend the motion to say this is what we want language to
But
say.
she's spending time asking
No,
about the
that-
language
it's what-
being ready.
It's what Mr. Gitschlag just said.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for that, we're just looking for that guidance to come with that language next time.
If that's what we decide we're
Right,
going to
if
do.
it's what we decide
Right,
tonight.
so let's have the discussion about what we're going to do before we start giving directions on the language for the, predetermined outcomes.
Can we have the language by the first meeting in July? And
I'm sorry.
can you have the language by the first meeting in July?
If that's what council votes today, yes, we will have it, absolutely. And just by point of information, if that is how council wishes to proceed, there is two paths, but of course, the open up. You could have the election for those wishing to be on the commission within 60 days. It doesn't have to be at the same time, but of course, that may not make a whole lot of sense if that's how you proceed, if that's how you choose to go.
But that also costs money.
Precisely.
So, and the only reason I asked about that is because of the shorter timeframe with the July 20th, so it would have just given people more opportunity, that's all. But we can get the language, so, and do you need the motion then to say that it would be, that's my question. Do you need the motion to say
Well, I
that
think
it's both?
I think Councilmember Moffett is correct. We need direction first. So let's have that motion, see if it passes.
Have a motion, I'm asking you, you seem to be
But we don't have a
indicating you
vote.
needed something
We
else.
we don't have a motion on exactly what that direction is yet,
Right.
just to have a
That's what I'm
direction.
asking.
So if someone makes that,
I think I think what we're saying is that should be a second motion thereafter.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yep.
Okay, so you need, back to, we need a dual thing, which is what I was
Right.
saying. All right, so then the motion in front of us would be to approve a resolution for a charter revision ballot proposal to submit to the electors of the city. And then whatever's next, we'll figure out after we vote on that, if we vote, if it passes. That's what you're saying.
or you can amend this to already say that.
See, do not make that hard, you just gave me an answer, and I went with it, and now you
We
switched it.
can do both, we can do both.
Let's not do that.
They're both, it's
How
6
about
of
we
one,
roll
half a dozen
call
of the other.
this?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay, repeat the motion.
Consideration of approving a resolution for a charter revision ballot proposal for submission to the electors of the city. As written. Okay. Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
Mayor Scripture.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Milan.
No.
Councilmember Moffett.
No.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Motion passes.
What is the next step you're asking, Mr. Nushai?
So bring you back language and then make a determination as to, we'll bring you back language considering that at the next meeting. But at the same time, you need to consider whether you want your members of the commission, the Charter Commission, to run at the same time that this is on the ballot, or whether you want to have that, a second election some 60 days, within 60 days thereafter.
So A, you're going to have to speak a little more because
My
you're
apologies.
muffled with Kathy. And B, I'm still a little confused. Do you want the motion to have both of those parts?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think what makes sense
So
is
you're
to have
asking-
both.
Okay.
Yes.
And so if we make that, and then we can discuss them and change whatever, but that's what you're asking.
Yes.
Can you just give me that language, please? Make a motion to,
Sorry, let me go to my, a motion that we place the election of the members of the Charter Commission at the same time as, on the ballot at the same time as the Charter Revision ballot proposal.
okay, I make a motion that, darn it, I was reading it up there because when you said it, I knew I could read it. It went away.
But if you ask me to
So
repeat it,
moved.
then-
Yeah, so moved.
Support.
Okay, so we have a motion and a support to put the charter revision and
Concurrently, right.
current, thank you.
that's
Concurrent
the word.
with, yes, as it was proposed months ago, concurrent with the people that would be on it. Any discussion? Because I
I have a
guess I still
question.
moved it. Yes.
There's the assumption that it's the November 2021 election.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not specifically stated in the motion, so either, so that we could subsequently have it some other time, as we saw.
That's why I asked you.
Right?
Yeah, with the meaning of next election, yes. I mean, but on this one, as I calculate the time, August, correct me if
Yeah,
I'm
the
wrong.
language is usually next available election is how it's phrased. So which would be November
I
by
think we're
deadline.
within the period
So
of
if I
time.
just amend this to say concurrent with the first thing on the November ballot, 2020, 21,
Wouldn't be in that one. That wouldn't be the meaning of, yeah.
can I just amend that?
My distinguished gentleman next to me over here is asking all the appropriate question, one of them being, I think going along with Councilmember Moffitt's, general line of questioning, which is there's an August election. It wouldn't fall on that one.
No.
There just, it couldn't be. So to
Oh,
that
I
end,
see.
also.
Language does have to be approved, and sometimes they want you to tweak it, and so it wouldn't make it to the November, so that can happen. So that's why you say next available, then once it gets fixed, it hits the ballot.
Gotcha. So it was correct. as worded.
Yes.
Okay, then. But the second thing is concurrent. It would be two things. It would be to approve a charter commission and to the people.
That's the meat of it, Madam
electors
Mayor.
running.
Yes.
That's, okay. So, Councilmember Moffett, does that answer?
It answers my question, yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I probably shouldn't, I'm good. I have nothing nice to say.
Councilmember Sampson?
Good.
Councilmember Phillips? I'm good, since we got assist there. You want to roll call the vote, please?
Mayor Scripture.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Milan.
No?
Councilmember Moffitt.
No.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, well, you have the direction y'all need. Thank you.
Move forward.
Then next on the agenda is old and unfinished business, and I don't believe we have any tabled items or old and finished business for the evening. So the next item on the agenda would be public comments for items not on the agenda.
Madam Mayor, did we move B2 to new business?
Oh, you're right. I'm so sorry. You're right. And I don't have it in front of me, so of course I didn't see it. I missed it because we moved it. Thank you. Let me go back. Before the old unfinished business, we moved the second reading. Wait, now I got to go to the top of my darn page. Hold on a second here. The second reading of, here it is. Consideration of the second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend the City of Clawson Code of Ordinances, Chapter 34, Article 10, Division 12, Section 34-832, to add uses to the B-1 local business district. And I believe that was presented at a previous council meeting, and then Giffords did more conversation on it at the joint workshop, and this is just the second reading.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I move the ordinance be it to amend the City of Clawson's Code of Ordinances, Chapter 34, Article 10, Division 12, Section 34, TAC 832, to add uses to the B1 local businesses district be entered into a second reading and adopted.
Support.
Any questions on that one?
They explained it good to me last
Good?
time.
Okay. All right, I have nothing.
Mayor Pro Tem Milan.
No?
Councilmember Moffitt.
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
Mayor Scripture.
Yes.
Passes, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for making sure I didn't pass that one up. All right, old unfinished business, like I said, we have none. Well, we kind of did, and now we took care of it. Public comments then for items not on the agenda, and I was going to say, is there, yes, please. How's your knitting going?
I was able to get 10 rows done.
Outstanding.
So that was
And what are you making?
making a sweater. So no guilt. I had nothing to do at home. I couldn't do the dishes, couldn't do the laundry, deal with the puppy. So it was awesome. So my name's Ann Dwyer, and 346 Lunar Ave, so for the record. This is my first time at a council meeting. It's been very interesting how local government works.
So wait, this is your first time speaking too?
This is my first
You're
time
natural.
speaking
Look at you.
At any meeting, at any public meeting.
Wow.
So I'm a member of the Friends of the Library, and the Friends of the Library is a nonprofit, and we are there to serve the needs of the library in case different things. We believe this strong library is crucial to Clawson, and we supplement library budget with funding of programs and other needed items. So we just wanted to come up, and thank Whiskey Tango Foxtrot for the wonderful fundraiser they had this past Tuesday. They gave us $4,000, which will certainly help for things at the library, and we really appreciate it.
Have you been able to have sale? You've probably been kind of shut down with COVID, right?
Yeah, we have not been able to have our normal book sales. We have had some other fundraisers with local businesses, and also they've run like a book sale like out in front of the library. People come and donate, and then they pay for books and that kind of stuff. But yeah, we really have.
Are they still taking books then?
They are not.
Okay, so nobody can, and I'm saying this because we don't want to make sure that we. So
No
right,
donations,
since
right.
we have the opportunity, so no donations yet.
Right.
And so that makes it hard to sell books if you're selling some and not replenishing them, but at some point. Okay, anything else that you guys are able to do?
I think we have some.
Madam Mayor.
You need to come up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can't hear you.
I was gonna ask a question later on to Mike, but it'd be a great time, because this is the lady that asked me. Mike, are you there?
We're hoping to have the concert at the gazebo again,
Oh,
August 16th.
right.
We didn't have one last year, so we put in for that, so we have to
Well,
see.
I think Mike might have an answer.
Sale at that time.
And actually, Mike has answered.
Oh, he did, okay.
Yes, he has.
So is that a green light, or?
Well, I don't know if it's a green light, but we have had all the communication and submitted all the forms. Oh, perfect.
Okay, he got you through the process
Yes,
to, okay,
absolutely.
outstanding. So I guess I would like to say that that's a wonderful, 4,000, that's amazing. My little $100 here and there sounds kind of crappy now, thanks. However, I'm going to say to that, a long, hard year and a half, no fundraising available, so 4,000 sounds wonderful, and it is wonderful, but let's all not fold up our checkbooks and put them away just because they got a nice 4,000 donation, because they definitely could continue, because that's kind of almost plugging a hole versus, yes.
That's half of our budget.
Oh, wow, that's outstanding. So the rest of us need to help fill in the rest of the half of the budget. I gotcha.
And I have brochures I want to.
Oh, yes,
I
please.
know that you are a member.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the only member. I think all the other ones are members.
Here comes the
I'm a
guilt.
member. Thank you.
And we have men members as well.
Yes, I remember a very charming gentleman.
Gee,
I
thanks.
did a volunteer day. Yes. Yes, very sad. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Give this one to the new policeman.
I will.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for sitting through to do that. I appreciate it.
Very educational.
Very
Good choice of words. All right, Mr. Nushai, well, I'm sorry, was there anybody else I didn't see anybody in the room, but I forgot we have Zoom, so I see Samantha's hands raised. Yes, hi, Sam.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Samantha Hanser Maynard. I live at 941 Shenandoah Court here in Clawson. I would like to comment once again on the Clawson Public Schools bond proposal on the August 3rd ballot. The committee was hard at work this past weekend. Maybe you saw one of these nifty door hangers on your door. We were all around the city distributing those. I encourage everyone on the council and on the call to read the information on here. It gives a really good overview of some of the wonderful enhancements we can expect. For even more information, you can visit clawsonbond2021.com, or the door hanger has a QR code on it, so you can just use your phone's camera, and that will take you right to the website, so you can view that. You're going to see the committee around town quite a bit in the coming weeks talking about the bond proposal. And another great resource I want to make sure everyone's aware of For information and questions, it's a community forum taking place this Thursday. It's going to be hosted by Superintendent Tim Wilson.
Sam, say that
Please.
again because you're fading in and out. You said there's a community forum?
Correct, yes. This coming Thursday
Okay.
at 7 p.m. It is at the high school in the auditorium, or you can view it online. Information on that is on that website, again, clausenbond2021.com, if you want to check that out, or it's all over Facebook as well. But that's at 7 p.m. at the high school. Tim will be answering questions, going through the proposal, giving all the information again, similar to probably what we saw at the last council meeting. And just to close, I just want to say, I'm really excited about the new opportunities for my child and other students. But as a homeowner and a member of the community, I'm thrilled that this will put us, in good standing for the foreseeable future. It will help our district thrive. We need a good school district to maintain our high property values, and this plan does not increase taxes, which is always amazing. It's a fantastic opportunity to make the improvements that we need and keep our schools going in the right direction. So I encourage everyone to visit clausenbond2021.com for more information and make a plan to vote yes on August 3rd.
Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Can I follow up on that?
Yes, please.
About 4,000 some absentee ballot applications were put in the mail this week. That is the permanent AV list. It's the new thing since the presidential election. They will start arriving indoors this week. I do need a signed application back before I can give mail a ballot to someone. The school, there's a lot of people are emailing saying, send me a ballot. And it doesn't really work that way. We have to have a signed application. And I just let them all know that they're coming, or we put one in the mail for them. So
And they got that on the website too?
I asked the school district to change their approach on that. They were saying, email the clerk for a ballot.
So
And
asking them.
I did ask
okay, perfect.
the deputy superintendent to change the language. So we got to have a signed application, or else we can't just issue a ballot.
And if someone does not receive a signed receive an application to sign in the mail, they would,
Call and ask for one, and that's when we send it out to them.
or they can.
Come into the city hall and do it in person. We're open.
All right, so, and that would that get them on the permanent,
They can ask. That's easy. We always ask
Need to
folks that are
ask.
new. Yes, they got to check the box, and we always point it out. If you want to
Okay.
be on the permanent list, check the box.
check the box. Okay, so you can apply to be an absentee voter once and do it. You can check the box and be a permanent absentee voter, but regardless, when you get that permanent thing in the mail, the notice, you have to sign the application and send it
And it's
back.
like that for every election, and I know it's new to a lot of people, a lot of voters across the state, because all those applications arrived in their mail unsolicited last
Yes.
year. So,
That's why I'm repeating it
yes,
with you.
it's new.
Yes, it is new, but that is how it works. All right, and August, what's the date of the next election? August 4th?
August 3rd.
3rd, okay, August 3rd. All right.
Oh, you called me August, not Mr. Gitschlag. Thank you.
Oh, hush. Then, so I don't think we have any more public comments. I don't see any more raised hands on the screen. I don't see any, nope. All right, Mr. Nushai, City Attorney's report on the, are you kidding me, letters from, with Shakespeare quotes.
Good evening. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council. As you're referencing, I had a couple of letters that I included under my report for this evening. These were, and this just coincidentally ties with a question that I have, or a question that came from the joint meeting of council, the meeting along with the Planning Commission. So to start with that, at the joint meeting, the Planning Commission requested some guidance from council with respect to the ongoing zoning ordinance work concerning marijuana establishments. And I went back, in my memory, trying to think whether they received that guidance, and I don't think they did.
Did not.
So as council, just by way of brief review, just to get you caught up, as I know you have, but also for the benefit of the public, there's 2 initiatory petitions to amend our code of ordinances that will be voted by, the city of Clawson this November. And one or both of those petitions may pass, or they may not pass. But if one or both passes, obviously, said establishments would be able to come into the city. The work that the Planning Commission has been doing has been focused on the city's right pursuant to the Zoning Enabling Act to modify our code of ordinances to allow for proper zoning to take place if that eventuality comes to pass, among others. It's important, obviously, and the Planning Commission did request that guidance. It's important to set the public hearing to be able to solicit, or a town hall to be able to solicit comments from the community, to hear the thoughts of the community on the matter. But the question that was posed was, are we on the right path? Have you reviewed everything? Should we do this? And I think it's important that they get this direction. So I just wanted to bring that up to your attention. And this came about as a result of that letter that I received from Mr. Parada. Mr. Parada sent me a letter, and I included it on my report. It's a letter that, well, and to answer at the same time, and I know I'm giving it a little bit of a circle, but to answer at the same time the comment from the gentlelady during public comments, my office receives a lot of communications on behalf of or regarding the city of Clawson, and we respond to a lot of communications from attorneys, individuals, so on and so forth, on all sorts of issues. I obviously don't bring all of those communications to you. It would be, I think there's no reason for it. These are communications that I receive as your attorney when it comes to, for example, prosecutions, when it comes to building department issues. I receive communications with respect to bankruptcies being filed and communications that go through through Stacy, the treasurer's office. There, she receives countless communications. Obviously, to bring all those to you would be some level of micromanagement that perhaps is not necessary because there's no reason for it. That's why you hire the professional staff that you do. That said, some issues do rise at the forefront, and this is one of them. And I bring it to you because it's an important issue. I know it's an important issue. I remember obviously the debate that took place when those initiatory petitions came forward. As you noticed in my letter, I obviously disputed the claims on the letter that we received, and I believe their claims that somehow simply by engaging in this conversation, which is the basic outline of the letter, that simply by engaging in this and this, what I think is an important debate, obviously, for the community as to whether we ought to have, how these votes ought to turn out come November, which the electorate is going to vote, but also at the same time, how the zoning issues will be decided and how the zoning on these particular topics should be determined. I think that debate needs to take place, and I think your guidance is necessary, the guidance of the community, as far as the thoughts of, as far as how your votes as stewards of this city ought to go for. I think those are all very important issues, and I think they ought to be, obviously, they ought to come to the forefront, and I think it's an important debate to have, which is why I included that letter on my report. So I would request that you consider giving some guidance, or at least have a brief discussion at the appropriate time today, or sooner rather than later, obviously, because we're inching closer to those deadlines. And the Planning Commission has been moving through the direction of Giffords Webster. They've been moving with a calendar that would basically get us as close as humanly possible to that election deadline. So
if I could summarize what I think I hear you saying, or read through this letter, is that we have every right and responsibility to set reasonable standards regarding zoning, building, how marijuana would be allowed in the community. Where we would get in trouble, and rightfully so, is if we tried to circumvent the will of the people or the law and just simply ban it without taking those to we couldn't zone it out of the city and try to circumvent the ballot.
You cannot zone it out of the city.
That's not what we're doing.
Right.
We are simply setting reasonable, and I believe there were places on the map and whatever. So we're simply setting reasonable standards, of which I believe Giffords has run many communities through this. So
I think
that's what you're trying to say here, right?
I am. That is exactly, that's important, because we don't want to be, I imagine, if, we can all imagine that moment where come November 3rd, the vote has taken place, and one or both of those ordinances, petitions to amend the ordinance, have been passed, and we have no standards whatsoever anywhere on the horizon. You can imagine then that with the situation we're going to have is a situation where the establishments allowed would go anywhere.
I believe you just quoted my speech to planning right after we said we were sending it to ballot.
Not intentionally, no. I usually
But you
quote
just did.
Shakespeare, as you noticed on my letter.
So, but thank you. I'm glad that, if you didn't know that, well, look at us. Saying
right.
the same thing. So what I also hear you saying is that at that joint meeting, there was planning's been working on this, and they were looking for guidance. Obviously, I think they presented all what they had done so far in the
Right.
zoning, so I think there's two kind of parts. If anybody had had any concerns or questions, I would hope they would have reached out to Giffords. And the second part is that they had asked, I believe very specifically, for a town plan, to give to give planning commission the green light to go ahead and do a town hall to get community feedback on what they've developed so far. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's what they're looking for. If that's the case, do we need, I have a motion ready
If you want to make a motion, so at least you could have the discussion.
because that
I
would
think
be
it's appropriate.
to the, okay. So I make a motion that council direct planning commission to hold a town hall for input on the cannabis zoning ordinance and proceed with the process.
I'll support that.
Now we can discuss, and I really don't have anything because I just said everything, and you said it in your letter. And how about you?
The only question I have is why do we have to direct the planning commission to do that? Are they not eligible to do that on their own?
My understanding is because this is such a hot button topic, and because they, the work they put into it, they wanted to bring us in earlier
Okay, so
rather
they
than
brought
later.
us-
Yes.
I
Yes,
think
bring
that's
us in
exactly
early
right.
rather than later, and wanted to, are we giving
So-
them the go-ahead and keep forth and do good things?
Not to push it too far in another direction, but obviously, one of the, council always has the option and the right to take the issue and simply vote on the issue of allowing marijuana establishment and opting in. Yeah.
I'm not
So-
taking that on.
I'm sorry?
I'm not taking that on. We
I
already said go to
understand,
ballot.
But, and that's part of the reasoning as far as the planning commission bringing it forth, in the sense that as stewards of the city, as the legislative body of the city, you have the opportunity to take, to give directions, by way of your vote and the will of council on all these issues. But at the very least, I think planning commission seeks to bring you into the discussion where they think it important, particularly with respect to the zoning ordinance, pursuant to the zoning enabling.
I just wanted clarification as to why we were being asked that.
So someone mentioned bringing us in early on this process, and I find that a lot not very truthful, considering the planning commission's been working on it for probably the better part of a year, and it's never been discussed with us at all. So I agree that we do need to have parameters in place, because this is clearly something that's hitting every community, but let's not act like we're in on the early stages of it. And I have a question for you, Mr. Nushai. You mentioned that you put this letter in as a result of that meeting. You basically poo-pooed that letter. Could you be wrong in your determination? I don't mean this with any respect. Could you be wrong in your determination of the validity of the RICO letter by any stretch of the imagination? Or are you just 100% correct that the information that these people had and validly had, supposedly, is something that we don't have to even think about?
I'm usually wrong about 96 out of 100 times a day. It would not be conceivable to think that I somehow would be just 100% correct. So in that sense, I think I could give credence to your argument. However, the statement that I make in the letter and the way I responded to the letter was not through just simply my opinion. I don't think I would ever do that. The quote that basically I have in my letter responding to Mr. Parada, who happens to be a friend of mine, and I think very highly of his legal skill. But he is incorrect on the legal issue here, because we frankly have a Supreme Court case on the RICO issue, or I'm sorry, we have an appellate court case on the RICO issue with respect to municipalities. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. That said, no attorney will ever sit up here and tell you that I'm 100% correct, and then you can take that to the bank. It doesn't work that way. The Supreme Court can come out, they're last, not because they're right because they're last in line as far as court cases are concerned, which means that, I could have, 3 sets of judges agree with me all along, but the Supreme Court goes another way and we're all wrong. So, again, I could give credence to that statement all day. I think, on the law as it stands today, I think I'm comfortable with the letter that I've written to you.
But he felt he was comfortable too, right?
Oh,
Like,
but
that's
of
why
course.
he did it, so.
But of course. We're each of us, Mr. Parada and I are representing our own clients. He's representing his, and I'm representing mine, which is this council, this city. And I think, again, could we be wrong? Sure. Are we going to be wrong in representing the city going forward, as we have in the past plenty of times? Of course. But again, I think on this specific issue, on that specific issue, think about it. How could it ever come about? And these are famous. This could very well be famous last words. But how could it ever come about where we cannot simply, pursuant to the letter, we would not even be able to engage in the conversation in this city? That couldn't be the case. When that day comes, I think we're going to have far bigger issues, obviously, than just simply a RICO lawsuit.
You'll be out of a job.
You better believe it.
You and a
yes.
bunch of others.
I'll be out first.
Anybody else? All right, we have a motion on the table to direct them to have a town hall.
So the motion to have the planning commission, direct the planning commission to schedule a town hall for the issue of marijuana licensing,
And to move ahead with the process.
and then move ahead with the process. Okay.
What's the process?
The zoning.
The zoning process. Councilmember Moffett,
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips,
Yes.
Councilmember Sampson,
Yes.
Mayor Scripture,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Milan.
Yes.
It's unanimous, Madam Mayor.
All right. Then,
My
Are you done?
report.
Oh, you're not
Yeah,
done?
it's okay. To finish my report, I have nothing further except for to tell you how highly I think of Mr. Parada. If, I would hope that he would run actually for that charter commission, because I know his research skills. I've known Mr. Parada for a long time, and I think he would be one of the perfect candidates for it, just on account of that, of his legal standing. So I thought that was important to say as well. Thank
feel
you.
free to recruit him.
Well, maybe that might be a little too much, but,
There's applications at some point, maybe in the thing. Feel free to grab one and drop them off.
thank you.
Right. So next then on the agenda, I think we're at city manager. I had to go down to read, or pretend to read your letter again. Let's see here. And, yep, I think we are at city manager report. Yes.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Thank you for letting me be virtual as I'm continuing to be on the mend. All I really have is I just want to thank all the staff for all the amazing work they've done on the budget, especially Kelly and to Scott and Nick in August, and Ken for getting everything prepared, and DPW for getting things installed for you this evening to be in person again. And hopefully, maybe next week, as I'll see you all in person again, the rest of the staff, as things go on. I want to give a shout out to, again, just like the Friends of the Library did, to Whiskey Taco Foxtrot and Downtown Charlie's. I participated in that as well, knowing that the proceeds would help the library, and I appreciate all of that help that they did for a great cause. And that is, other than that, yes, I did receive the application, and we'll move forward with that concert in the park, the gazebo, in August. So that's all I have this evening.
Michael, what was the date of that August concert?
Yeah.
Was the
I have to get-
16th?
16th? Yes.
16th? Okay. I had July written down.
Well, you'd be a lonely person not listening to much.
I'd have a good seat, though.
You would, best seat in the house.
I'll bring
To
a
watch a
radio.
nice empty gazebo. Do you have anything, Councilmember Sampson? No. Councilmember Moffett?
Nope.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Oh, no.
All right, then next on the agenda, city council comments. I have nothing.
Yeah. With all this budget we've been doing, and we did have a memo from Mike that rates for AEW are going up, looks substantially. When you look back, it doesn't look like we bid it out since 2001. I'd like to make a motion that we direct the administration to issue an RFP for engineering services, at least so we can see what's
For who?
AEW.
I thought we already did that.
No,
So you're saying, when did you say the last RFP was?
I think 2001, when they bid it out. They've been adjusting the contract.
Right, that's what RFP would be, yeah, bid it out.
Bid it out, yep. And they would
Oh,
do-
we did it for auditing.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry.
so that was in the form of a motion, so we need a
Oh,
second.
I was going to say, did you make, you made a motion?
Yeah,
Okay, so you're motioning to put the engineering contract
an RFP, issue an RFP
for the
for
engineering.
engineering services.
I'll
And have it
second.
back by July 30th.
That's tough for RFPs. You usually have to put them out for a minimum amount of
No, I
time to
think
go
he
on bid
means
net.
back to us.
Well,
review.
then I would want first meeting
But
in.
you didn't mean back to us.
Yeah,
review.
first meeting in
'Cause
July.
I thought that was,
Yeah. it's-
wait,
Have
so
the
I
RFP
get it, but when, okay, so an RFP that we would review and approve?
No, just make sure it's out by July.
But normally, don't we review and approve RFPs of that?
The language of the RFP, not necessarily. The
Not,
final
okay.
result, yes. That I
Okay.
can guarantee you we wouldn't have by July 30th.
No, okay, so you're saying to
Yeah,
have
start the
it
process?
Just, yeah, have it out to
Okay.
the community by
Well-
the second meeting, or first meeting in July.
out, and you're saying that's hard?
Probably, we can have it out by then, I'm sure.
It's just out, not.
Yeah, I'll talk to Mike,
July?
but yeah, to have it out, at least post
Out.
it. Yeah,
Oh,
to
okay.
post it up. Yeah,
Okay,
that can be
okay.
done.
All right, okay, now I understand. Yeah, I'll second that then. I wasn't going to, I didn't understand what it, yeah, fine, second. Lou, it was your motion.
Like I just said, I think it's time to do it. They've been doing it for a long time, and we have seen a project creep going up every year, so it's time to see what's out there, and maybe we can reduce the cost somehow on the engineering services that we got.
Kathy?
I'm good.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Didn't we discuss professional services during the last budget meeting? And something to the effect of, there are many contracts out there that probably could use the same type of a review, including Giffords Webster, which is up or coming up. So if we're going to do one, I'd like for us to address all of them.
Well, I actually, go ahead, Councilmember Moffett.
Mr. Nushai, is the engineering contract under the purview of the city council?
Yeah, I think that would fall, well, they'll be interesting, but I think they may fall under the city manager, in my humble opinion, but,
So
that
it's
kind of
not
money?
appropriate for us to direct him to do anything?
because, well, it's an outside firm, doing business with the city, so, but it's, they're providing engineering service. Yeah. I would respectfully request, if council was to consider it, or if Mr. Sampson would consider it, to maybe give this one a reprieve so that we may review, so that I may review their current agreement that they have.
This is a list right here that Mike sent me, and he put on it, AEW Engineering Council's approved it in 2001. The cost is based on fees.
But the council has to
ongoing
approve all
operation.
the contracts. That doesn't mean
it's
you
our
can
purview.
direct it.
It's our purview to do it.
To interject, yes, council approved it back then. That was the normal bid process. Again, that was done 20 years ago. So different set of attorney eyes, I suppose, on it as to the process, if Mr. Nushai wants to put in his points.
Yeah, Councilmember Sampson, if it will please you, I would say, because I have a couple of thoughts in mind with respect to this specific contract and the specific service that they provide to the city. Among others, or one of those items that I would think is that they're a repository for all the documents of the city. So I think we probably need to just take a moment, if you would, give us the ability to at least, give myself and the rest of the administration and Mr. Smith the ability to look into this and come back next time. I'll either clear the path for you and say thank you very much for your courtesy, or I'll bring you forth something relevant for you to consider.
No,
Before
because
I have a question first. So wait a minute. Okay. And again, we don't have financial policies in front of us. They were supposed to be accumulated. I think that was a follow-up item that never happened either. But don't we, I mean, granted, there's always exceptions, there's, things happen, COVID, stuff like that, but generally speaking, isn't every 5 years a normal time period to go out for like larger of these things? You want them to have enough time, and it doesn't mean you pick a new one, just like the audit contract. It means you give the opportunity to see what else is out there and what are the services, and I guess I'm a little disturbed that when you're dealing with a contractor, that we don't have copies of everything they have.
I'm not telling you that we don't. I'm telling you that I don't know whether we do or not. And since we're talking about if they are the repository, which they are,
Okay.
they have copies of everything, but I don't know what we have.
Okay.
We recently parted ways with our, the former engineer in the city. So we're going to be losing on both ends. Before we make such a move, all I'm saying is perhaps we ought to consider, giving ourselves a breather. And that's
fine. I just wanted
I'm speaking to you
clarity.
because I'm responding to you,
Right,
but obviously
But I
my
just wanted
conversation is
clarity
with.
on- Okay.
So, and we're talking about engineering services, which I think if I think about it is, they do fall under the purview of the city manager. But this is a contract at the same time, so obviously there's a connection to council, to the role of council as well. So it's one of those, issues. To answer your question with respect to, don't we do this every 5 years? No, we don't. You could go, council can opt to say, for the rest of our days, every council that comes in here, say we keep this person, this one entity, AEW, for the, till doomsday come. It's certainly your,
I wasn't saying it was a requirement, I said it was a I was saying a best practice.
I'll leave you to your reasoned judgment as far as that. But again, my communication was Mr. Councilmember Simpson.
And I respect your opinion.
Thank you.
All the problems that you're talking about can be solved anyway. And the way we started this conversation looked like we were being held hostage to me because they got all our records. So I would stick with getting the RFP out there. If they're not selected, or if they are selected, we need to fix that. Where's the records, and get copies of ourselves, copy of all the records they have too, so we don't end up being held hostage.
How long would it take you to come back with, you said you'd like to review?
I'd like to review it just in the sense, I could come back with, as I indicated, by the next meeting, so at least we would have a chance to sit down with Mr. Smith, Mike Smith, our Mike Smith, city manager, and the rest of the administration, just to take a look. And when I come next time, we would be, the city manager or myself or whomever the appropriate party would be, either telling you, entirely your pleasure, make a decision as you see fit, or we bring forth some, item for you to consider as far as your decision-making in this regard.
So we can table this motion then, right?
And that's all
I
I'm
was
at.
going to say, why don't you table it?
I'll table it until the
Thank you.
next meeting.
Thank you for your courtesy.
Postpone,
Postpone.
yes.
It's a clerk thing that makes us shake. It's
Postpone.
postpone, not table. Thank you.
And then that would go under old business, which we
It can come under
rarely
old
have.
business, sure.
How exciting, I never
Yes.
get to have anything under old business. That'd
There
be
you go.
fun.
So that way we'll make sure it comes back up again.
Yes.
Oh, I will.
I'm sure you will, sir.
Postponed, not tabled, okay. And we
If
don't
the
have to
person
vote?
who made the second has to agree to that, though.
I agree.
Okay,
That's fine.
then it's all good.
All good. I'm sorry, did I start with you, Councilmember Sampson? Yes. Councilmember Phillips? Oh, I'm sorry, did you have anything else,
No.
Councilmember Sampson? Okay, thank you. Councilmember Phillips?
Nope.
Mayor Pro Tem Malone?
I'm just a little disappointed that we couldn't resolve the budget issue today, and that apparently personal vendettas are taking the precedent over accomplishing the business of the city. And I heard a comment tonight that we wouldn't want to distract the city council, yet I feel like the things that were accomplished today were kind of distractions for the city council, so that's all.
Councilmember Malone?
I implore the citizens of Clausen to be the change that you want to see on the city council. Pick up a clipboard, run 25 signatures. It's not that hard.
Get
but-
30 to be safe.
Well, you need 25 to submit. You can submit as much as you want. 25 that get validated. But please be the change that you want to see. Be part of the solution and throw your name in the hat and run. That's all I got.
I believe Councilmember Phillips misunderstood me. Did you have anything
Yeah,
to
I
say?
did misunderstand. I thought you were talking about something else. I just wanted to mention to the citizens of Clausen that there will be some 4th of July activities. No fireworks, no parade, no carnival rides, but there is a huge sign at the corner of Elmwood and Main stating all the scheduled events. It's on Facebook. They're trying to do a good job of getting the information out there. So I would ask everybody to have a safe 4th of July, and please keep your fireworks to a little bit of a minimum. Being that we aren't having fireworks this year, I can just picture it's gonna go gabooey all over the place. And I, for one, have dogs that I have to medicate during this time of year, so, and I'm not opposed to people doing it. I just use your common sense as to when you stop.
We should have asked the fire chief to come in and do a quickie on fireworks safety.
Yeah, don't
Could
let-
find him.
He's right.
Oh!
He's right
You
there.
mean right there?
Yeah.
Why what? Why? How?
Chief, thanks for volunteering. Come on up.
Just, wow.
Also, there was lawn signs picked up today for the 4th of July committee that are going to go around town with all those events scheduled. So they're going out. They just got picked up today, so they're
Why,
going to be
Chief
going out.
Engel? Imagine I didn't see you sitting there, and here you are. Would you like to share any safety tips for 4th of July? Because we know people will be going crazy in their backyard. I would cede my council comment time to you.
I anticipate that there will be considerable action in the fireworks department this year, as we won't be having our own fireworks. Fire department, of course, will be ready to respond. I will be on vacation that day. Day one of Boy Scout camp, not my
4th of July is canceled. No fire chief in
Again?
town.
So you should always be safe with fireworks. Use them in a safe area. Do not throw them at one another. Alcohol and fireworks do not mix in any way, shape, or form.
What
Okay?
would be a safe area? How large and the type of
It
firework?
depends on the type of firework you are playing. Okay?
My backyard.
And most of our backyards are not good spaces for large fireworks, but the small things, the people that light them off generally know what they should and shouldn't do.
You're gonna go with that?
Generally.
Generally.
I saw some great
I
pictures
can
last
knock
year.
on some wood.
Yes, let's do
We
that.
haven't had,
It's also very dry.
it is, but that can change this in Michigan. Wait till tomorrow and the weather.
You saying
Thank you for that impromptu put on the spot, didn't know safety tips. Did you have anything else since you're here?
No, I came in here to drop off some bills and noticed you all here, so I thought I would sit and
It's lovely to
enjoy
see
the
you.
meeting.
It's lovely.
It's all nice to see all of your smiling faces.
All right, safety on the 4th of July. Anything else, Kathy?
No, I just wanted to tell people that because there are gonna be activities.
All right, in that case, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Second. Roll call, please.
Second came from
Councilmember Moffitt.
Moffitt.
Oh,
Thank you.
sorry.
It's everybody. We'll just-
Everybody, yep.
Everybody wants to.
It was
adjourn.
second,
Okay.
third, fourth, and fifth.
Councilmember Sampson.
Yes.
Mayor Scripture.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Milan.
Yes.
Councilmember Moffitt.
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
All
Thank you,
right,
everyone.
we'll see everybody on July 6th.
Thank you all. Have a safe 4th of July.